I just wanted to throw a really quick video together to talk through Trading 212's release yesterday on them offering interest on cash. Let's jump straight in. So now Trading 212 will be offering interest on the uninvested cash that you have on your account. And this will be applicable to both ISA accounts and invest accounts. The interest that you will be eligible for doesn't depend on the type of account that you've got, but instead it depends on the currency that you have your cash in. So if you hold your cash in British pounds, then the interest rate sits at 1.65 APY. So 1.65 annually. And I'll put the other rates for the US dollars and the euros on the screen now. This interest will actually be paid on a daily basis, which I think is pretty cool. You don't have to wait an entire month to see it. You will be automatically opted in to receive interest on your uninvested cash, but you can opt out pretty easily if you want to. However, if you do opt out, Trading 212 can still earn interest on your balance. You just won't be receiving any of it. So I think it kind of makes sense just to opt yourself in. But of course, you can decide what you do with your money. And there are a few tax implications depending on what type of account this is coming into. We'll get onto that in just a minute. So how does this actually work? Well, Trading 212, like many other providers, actually do earn interest on the cash it holds for you inside of bank accounts. You might not have known what happens behind the scenes, but this is what's been happening for a while now. Trading 212 have now just decided that they are going to pay you half of that interest. So they'll keep half and they'll give you half. Now, there isn't actually a maximum or a minimum amount of cash that you would need to put onto your account to be eligible for this interest. But you will only get paid the interest if the interest amount is greater to or equal to 1 penny. If it's less than 1p, you don't lose it. What happens is the amount gets retained and accumulated, and once it goes over that 1p threshold, you will then get paid. So just looking at Trading 212's invest terms, in point 14, they do actually speak about this. Okay, so here we are, interest sharing. When you hold uninvested money in your account or your ISA account with us, you agree that we may deposit your uninvested money with UK or EU regulated financial institutions and receive interest, which we retain. Lots of providers do this. When you hold uninvested money in any of these three currencies that we've just spoken about, we will separately pay you part of the interest we receive from the deposits. Now, this is the important part, representing at least 1.5% for USD, 1.4% for GBP, and 0.8% for euros. So what you should take away here is that the interest rate that you'll be getting will be at least 1.4. Right now, it's 1.65, but it will always be at least 1.4. And if they lower the interest rate, you will receive at least 30 days notice. And if they increase the interest rate to your advantage, so if it goes up, they will actually just apply that immediately and they won't really notify you, which makes sense. 14.3, there is no action required on your part to receive the interest. Like I said, you will be automatically opted into this unless you opt yourself out. If you opt yourself out, they will still receive the interest, you just won't get your half. The interest will be credited to your account or ISA account automatically at the end of each business day. We'll look at that in a minute because in my ISA account, I have actually received 1 day of interest so far, so I'll show you exactly what it looks like in a minute. We will only pay you the interest if the amount is greater than or equal to 1 penny, 1 cent, depending on your currency. If it's less than that, we'll retain it, we'll accumulate it, and then once it goes over, they will give it to you, just like we said. Right, now let's just have a look at this bit because this is kind of important. Depending on your tax residency and the type of account, a withholding tax may be applicable. So if you're a UK tax resident with an ISA account, so most people in the UK should be investing in a stocks and shares ISA, unless they've maxed that out and they've moved elsewhere, you do not owe any withdrawing tax or interest generated from the uninvested money in your ISA. If you're a UK resident, we will withhold 20% tax, blah, 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 blah. So basically, in terms of the tax, if you have your money inside of an ISA, you don't pay tax on any capital gains or any dividends or anything like that. And this is the same for this situation. If you get interest inside of the ISA, you do not pay tax on it. It works exactly the same way as your dividends and your capital gains. If, however, you have a different type of account, so you have a general investment account, one of the Trading 212's invest accounts, you may actually be eligible to pay tax on that interest. So depending on the state of your portfolio, depending on how much money you've got sitting in cash, there may be some tax there for you to pay. Definitely check that out if you've got large amounts of money for sure, but ISAs, it sounds like we don't need to worry at all. So how is this interest actually calculated? Like I said, the interest rate right now for money in pounds is 1.65. The lowest it can be is 1.4, but they can change it and they'll notify you if it goes down, but not if it goes up, like we just covered. So at the end of the day, at the end of the business day, your uninvested cash, so any cash balance that you have on your account, will basically get multiplied by the interest rate, the annual interest rate, so 1.65. And then that will get divided by 365. Because 365 will account for every day of the year, bank holidays, weekends, etc., etc. So let's just say you have £1,000 sitting on your ISA account in cash. It's ready to invest, but right now it's just sitting there in cash as a cash balance. So what you would do to work out your daily interest rate is you would take that £1,000, you would times it by the interest rate annually, so 0.0165, that's 1.65% as a decimal, and then you would divide that figure by 365. So that is saying that if you have £1,000 in cash on your account every single day, so you always have 1,000 across an entire year, you'd get £16.50 interest at the end of the year. But that would come in daily little increments of 4.5p, so rounded up to 5p. So I'm going to actually show you how this looks on your account now. It's very simple to get to on both the desktop version and the app version, but I'm actually going to show you in the app because I imagine quite a lot of people use their Trading 212 apps instead of logging on to the desktop like I do. In the right hand corner, the three little lines, you would just simply click that, and then there is this new section called Earn Interest on Cash, a little piggy bank next to it. If you press that, you will then see the overview page. And what you can see here is your earnings last month, all time, and then your current stats. Now, this only kicked off yesterday, so you won't see the last month yet, and your all time will probably look very low like mine. But what you can see is I have 92.42 in uninvested cash. So that has given me the daily interest of 0.004178, which is not an awful lot of money, obviously, but if we do that calculation that we did before, that's the figure we'd get using the 92.42. If you click on the little information button next to these different sections, you will just get some more information. So if we click the I next to daily interest, it just tells you that interests are issued daily, rounded to the nearest penny with sub-penny amounts carried forward. And this payment actually happens after 10 p.m. UK time every single day. So then you have an FAQ section, don't pay me interest if you want to opt out. You can manage your notifications on this as well. And then at the top, there is this payment section. So this is going to list all the payments that you've had from interest. So you can see that so far, yesterday, the 6th of June, I've had one payment of 1p. So you can see the interest on the cash worked out to 0.0115, etc., etc. That was rounded to give me a penny. There's no withholding tax, no tax rate as I'm inside of an ISA account. So I got paid 1p. So that's pretty cool that we'll now be receiving some interest for our cash on our accounts. I'm not going to be suddenly transferring all of my cash from my bank account into my Trading 212 ISA as uninvested cash because there are better interest rates out there. But I like the fact that we get some money for that uninvested cash because I quite often just have some money sitting there ready to invest when I want to. And why not make money on it? If you do want to open yourself a stocks and shares ISA or a general investment account with Trading 212, use the link in the description. That will get you a free share when you deposit £1, and the free share will be worth up to £100. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you again in another video.